welcome to the deep dive. Let's get straight to it. You're learning English, right? But maybe you don't have someone handy to practice with all the time.
Yeah, and that can feel a bit like, running a race solo. Maybe even a bit lonely or frustrating.
Definitely. You might feel like you're hitting a wall.
But here's the thing, and it's really important, feeling that way. It doesn't mean you're actually stuck. Honestly, practicing English by yourself isn't just, possible. It can actually give you some serious advantages.
Exactly. That's our mission in this deep dive. We want to basically hand you the keys, to become your own best English practice buddy. We're not just going to say practice more.
No, definitely not. We're aiming to equip you, the listener, with concrete strategies, smart tools, and maybe a bit of a mindset shift.
Yeah, so you can build real confidence, see genuine improvement, and actually, hopefully, have some fun learning English on your own.
So we'll look at why solo practice is, so useful. We'll also bust some common myths that might be holding you back. And then, we'll share a whole toolkit of practical tips and exercises, stuff for listening, for speaking, and putting it all into a routine that, actually works for your life.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So let's kick things off. Why is practicing English by yourself so potent? What's the power there?
Well, what's really interesting, I think, is the level of control you get. Think about it. In a class, or even with a practice partner, the focus isn't always on your specific weak spot, right?
It's true.
But alone, you're the director. Like, if your pronunciation of the sounds is tricky, you can drill those sounds for 20 minutes straight if you need to. No guilt.
Right. Or if you want to learn vocabulary about, gardening, you can just dive deep into that without worrying you're boring someone else.
Exactly. It's that tailored focus.
That's a really good point. Total laser focus. And there's also that feeling of freedom, isn't there? Lift pressure.
Absolutely. Huge one. You can stumble, repeat a sentence 10 times, try out weird intonations, all without feeling watched. And that no pressure zone. It's gold, especially if you're a beginner, maybe feeling a bit shy about making mistakes. There's actually research showing that lower anxiety helps language stick better.
That makes total sense. Less worry equals more brain space for learning. And, something I've noticed just generally in life is when you stick with something yourself, consistently you build, discipline.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And if you zoom out, that ability to self-motivate, to keep a schedule going on your own, that's a skill that helps everywhere, not just English. It's like learning how to learn independently. A superpower, really.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're completely cut off these days, right? Even when you're practicing solo, the resources are.
Wow. Oh, exactly. I mean, think about the sheer amount of stuff available. Apps for lessons, interactive bits, videos online, endless native speaker examples.
Right.
And podcasts, like this one, they can kind of act like a virtual practice partner, just immersing you in natural conversation.
It's like having a whole support team on your phone or computer. And you know what else is great about solo practice? It fits, even in a crazy schedule.
Yeah, that's a big question for busy people, isn't it? How do you actually make it a habit? The beauty of solo is you decide when. 10 minutes on the bus, fine. 20 minutes before bed, also fine.
You tailor it to your day.
Exactly. It stops feeling like this huge chore and just becomes part of your rhythm.
It's that drip, drip, drip of consistent effort that fills the bucket over time, right?
Perfect analogy. Think of it like building muscle. Short, regular workouts beat occasional huge ones every time for long-term strength. Each little practice session adds up, bit by bit, moving you towards fluency.
Well said. So if anyone listening has felt that, I'm doing this alone feeling, just remember, this approach has real strengths, and there's loads you can do.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, now let's tackle some of those ideas, those beliefs that might make people hesitant about really going for it on their own.
Right. It's fascinating, actually, how many myths stick around in language learning, especially about needing a partner 24/7. Let's debunk a few.
Okay, myth number 1. Hear this all the time. You absolutely cannot improve your speaking without talking to someone. What's the verdict?
Well, it sounds logical, but it kind of ignores some really powerful solo methods, like shadowing, for instance.
Okay, let's break that down. Shadowing. So you listen to a native speaker podcast, news, movie clip, whatever.
Right.
And you basically repeat exactly what they say, almost simultaneously, trying to copy their sound, rhythm, pauses, everything.
Precisely. Like being their echo. You're not even worrying about the meaning initially. The goal is just to physically make the same sounds, get the same flow. It trains your mouth and ears together.
Huh. So it's like having a conversation model you just follow perfectly. Interesting. Okay, what's another big worry about going solo?
Another common one is practicing alone isn't really effective because, like, who's gonna correct my mistakes?
Yeah, that makes sense on the face of it.
Yeah.
How do you know if you're messing up?
I totally get that concern. But we've got tools now. First off, technology. Things like Grammarly for writing errors, obviously.
Hmm.
But even for speaking, voice recognition on your phone. It can often tell you if you're being understood. If Siri keeps getting it wrong, that's feedback.
Huh. Right. Technology is your sort of first-line corrector.
Exactly. And maybe even more crucial, you develop your own ear, your internal error detector.
How does that work?
The more you actively listen to native speakers, really listen, and then compare how you sound, you start noticing the differences yourself. Oh, they stressed that syllable. Or my sentence structure sounds a bit clunky there. It's a skill that sharpens with practice.
So you become your own quality control.
Right.
Next misconception.
Myth number 3, this one can really kill motivation. Learning English alone is just boring and lonely.
Yeah, I can see that. Staring at a book or screen by yourself.
Yeah.
It could feel isolating.
And look, if you just do the same boring drill every day, yeah, it probably will be boring. But the trick is to actively inject fun and variety.
Okay, how? Give us some concrete ways to make solo learning feel less solo.
Definitely. Think about gamification first. Lots of apps use points, levels, streaks. Makes it feel more like a game. Or just use media you already love. Watch movies, TV shows, but actively listen,
Yeah.
Don't just let it wash over you. Sing along to English songs. It's amazing for pronunciation and rhythm. Find what you enjoy and fold English into it.
Stealth learning. Sneaking it in through fun stuff. I like it. Okay, one last myth to bust.
The final big one we hear is, you gotta spend hours every single day practicing to see any real results.
Oh man, that sounds exhausting. And probably makes a lot of people just give up before they start, thinking they can't commit that much.
Exactly. And it's just not true. Consistent, short, focused bursts, even just 10 or 15 minutes a day, that adds up massively over time. It's about the regularity, not the marathon sessions.
So better to do 15 minutes every day than try and cram 2 hours in on a Saturday.
Way better. You're building a habit, making it sustainable, like brushing your teeth few minutes daily. Huge long-term benefits. Same idea.
Fantastic. Okay, so everyone listening, don't let these myths hold you back. Practicing solo, totally viable, actually really effective if you use the right approaches.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what we're getting into next. The practical, actionable stuff you could start doing, like today.
All right, let's get down to brass tacks then. What are some specific things, like actual actions you can take right now to practice English effectively alone?
Okay, first one might sound a little out there, but trust me, talk to yourself in English.
It sounds simple, maybe even a bit silly, but what's fascinating is how powerful this is for actually activating your language skills.
Seriously, just narrate your day. Oh, okay, I'm making coffee now.
Yeah.
Or describe stuff. That dog is chasing a squirrel. You could even have little debates with yourself on topics you like. It's zero pressure sentence practice. Gets you thinking in English.
Yeah, that's fundamental for fluency, getting comfortable just producing the language privately. Building on that, another great one is shadowing, which, we mentioned earlier when busting myths.
Right. Listening and repeating almost instantly.
Yeah, and it's not just the sounds. It really helps you absorb the natural rhythm, the intonation, those common phrases that make English sound, natural.
Okay, another practical tip I think is super valuable. Record yourself.
Ah, yes. This raises a good point. How often do you actually hear what you sound like speaking English?
Probably never, unless you record.
Exactly. So grab your phone, read something aloud, or just ramble about your day for a couple of minutes, then listen back. It can be eye-opening. You spot things, pronunciation glitches, pacing issues, maybe grammar habits you didn't realize you had. It's like instant objective feedback.
It's like being your own coach, finding your own areas to work on. I love it. What about just plain old reading aloud?
Fantastic. And often overlooked. Greek pronunciation, getting the pace right, practicing intonation. Just grab anything, news article, book, recipe, whatever interests you, and read it out loud. Builds confidence in just making the sounds, too.
Definitely. And we can't ignore tech, obviously.
No way. There are tons of apps specifically for language learning. Duolingo, Babbel. Great for interactive exercises, vocabulary, grammar. And like we said, voice recognition, Google Translate, Siri, they can give you pretty quick feedback on whether your pronunciation is landing.
In thinking about surrounding yourself with English, immersion is huge, even solo immersion.
Totally. You got to make English part of your wallpaper. Change your phone language. Watch English movies, maybe subtitles on first, then off. Listen to podcasts you enjoy, read blogs. The more you're exposed, the more natural it starts to feel.
Okay, here's a fun one. Use music.
Oh, yeah. The music-language connection is powerful. Singing along to English songs you love, it's genuinely good practice for pronunciation, rhythm, even picking up new words. And it's just fun. Lifts the mood.
And for people who like structure, a schedule can be key.
A routine helps so much with consistency. Set aside specific times, even short ones, like, okay, 15 minutes listening, 15 speaking, 10 for vocab review, something like that. Makes it automatic.
And tied to that, setting goals, even small ones.
Yes. Crucial for motivation. Instead of just practice, aim for, say, learn 5 new travel words this week, or record myself talking for 3 minutes every day. Clear targets give you something to shoot for and a sense of achievement when you hit them.
These are all super practical, things you can literally start tomorrow. Remember, practicing alone doesn't have to be a drag. Use these strategies, find what works for you, and you'll make progress and maybe even enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Okay, now let's drill down a bit more. How can you specifically weave listening and speaking exercises into that solo routine?
Right, because those two skills are so connected, yeah. And you can definitely work on both effectively by yourself. Let's start with listening.
Okay, hit us with some good listening exercises.
Well, one key thing is active listening. Don't just have English audio playing in the background. When you listen, podcast, audiobook, whatever, really focus. Try to grab the main ideas, maybe jot down new words or cool phrases. Notice the tone. Afterwards, challenge yourself. Can I summarize that out loud in my own words? Test your comprehension big time.
That's great, making your brain really work while you listen.
Yeah.
What about something like dictation?
Oh, dictation's brilliant. Great for listening and spelling. Find a short audio clip, maybe just a sentence or two. Listen carefully. Write down exactly what you hear. Then check against the transcript or subtitles. It forces you to catch every little sound.
Okay, makes sense. Now let's flip to speaking. Without a partner, how can people really practice speaking effectively?
Role-playing works surprisingly well. Think of everyday situations. Ordering coffee, introductions, asking for directions, Then just act it out loud. Be both people if you have to. You can even jot down some key phrases first to guide yourself. Speak the words out loud.
Like running little English simulations in your head, but
Yeah.
actually saying the words. I like that. Other solo speaking ideas.
Imitation practice, like we mentioned, with shadowing, but maybe more focused on shorter chunks. Find a native speaker clip, listen to a sentence, pause. Repeat it exactly, trying to match their pronunciation, rhythm, intonation, the whole melody of the sentence. Helps you sound way more natural.
Like borrowing their accent for a moment. Okay, here's one I think is useful. The question and answer method.
Oh yeah, super simple, super effective. Write down some questions in English. Anything. What's your favorite food? What did you do yesterday? What do you think about? Then answer them out loud. Take your time. Form the sentences. Practices thinking on your feet in English.
Yeah, giving yourself a mini interview. And can technology help with speaking too?
For sure. Those voice assistants, Siri, Alexa, Google Assistant, they're actually decent practice partners for basic stuff. Ask them questions, give commands. It makes you practice speaking clearly enough for a machine to understand you.
Clever way to use what's already around. And what about deliberately listening for different accents?
Oh, that's crucial for the real world. Actively listen to different Englishes. British, American, Australian, Indian, etc. The more accents you tune your ear into, the better you'll understand people in actual conversations.
Expanding your listening range. Good tip. And maybe one more that blends listening and speaking.
Okay, try this. Listen to a short podcast bit or maybe a TED Talk clip. Finish it. Then try to explain the main points out loud, like you're teaching it to someone else. Really test if you understood and if you can express that understanding.
That's a fantastic way to cement the learning and get speaking practice in one go. Remember, everyone, these don't need to take ages. Even 15, 20 minutes combining a couple of these makes a real difference over time.
Definitely.
Okay, now let's talk about weaving all this together. How do you actually build a consistent daily practice routine?
Right, the routine. It's honestly the secret sauce for making steady progress without getting totally overwhelmed. It's about building that sustainable habit,
Exactly. So why is a routine so helpful for solo learners?
Well, consistency is just everything in language learning. Small, regular steps add up massively. A routine gives you that consistency. It makes learning less of a vague idea and more of a concrete thing you do each day. Plus, it cuts down on decision fatigue. You're not wondering what to do, it's just time for listening practice or whatever.
Okay, so give us an example. What could a simple, doable, say, 30-minute daily routine look like?
Yeah, totally doable. Maybe structure it like 10 minutes focused listening, like a short news clip or part of a podcast. Then 10 minutes active speaking, maybe shadowing what you just heard or describing your room or talking about your plans. And then the last 10 minutes on vocab or grammar reviewing flashcards, doing a quick app lesson.
That sounds really balanced and manageable. What if someone has a bit more time?
Oh, absolutely. Build on it. Add maybe 15, 20 minutes of reading an article, a chapter of a book, or add a short writing task journal about your day in English. Summarize something you learned. Great additions.
Here's an idea I like. Theme days.
Love theme days. Yeah, makes it cohesive. Like Monday is food, Tuesday is travel, Wednesday is work, whatever. Then all your activities fit the theme. So on Travel Tuesday, listen to a travel podcast, learn airport vocab, role play, buying a train ticket.
Keeps it focused and relevant.
Cool.
And what about setting really specific goals within that routine?
Yeah, much better than just practice vocab. Make it concrete. Learn 5 new work verbs today and use them in sentences. Or record myself speaking for 3 minutes about my weekend plans. Clear targets keep you on track and give you those little wins.
Absolutely. And something we shouldn't forget is looking back, right? Reviewing.
Oh, essential. Gotta review to make things stick. Maybe every Friday, spend 15, 20 minutes just going over the words, phrases, grammar bits you worked on that week. Helps move it from short-term to long-term memory.
And crucially, to keep doing it, it kind of has to be enjoyable. Yeah.
Exactly. Mix in stuff you actually like. Love watching comedy shows. Make that your listening practice. Enjoy games. Find language learning games. The more fun you associate with it, the more likely you are to keep showing up.
So if someone's feeling overwhelmed by setting up a routine, what's the number one piece of advice?
Start small. Seriously, even just committing to 10 minutes of focused practice every day is huge EE for building the habit. Once 10 minutes feels easy, maybe add another 5 or 10. Be realistic. Don't try to go from 0 to an hour overnight.
Great advice. Your routine doesn't need to be perfect from day one. Just showing up consistently is the main thing. Okay, as we start to wrap this up, let's talk about maybe the biggest hurdle for any learner, especially solo learners. Staying motivated. Keeping going long term.
Yeah, that's a really key point. Motivation is tricky, isn't it? Because language learning, it's usually a marathon, not a quick sprint. And sometimes the progress feels kind of slow, almost invisible day to day.
It's so easy to get discouraged when you don't feel like you're making massive leaps every week.
Precisely. But you have to remember those small daily steps, they are adding up. They're paving the road. And consistency isn't about being perfectly motivated every single day. It's about building the habit, allowing for those off days, but always coming back to it.
Okay, so what are some real practical ways people can keep that motivation engine running and stay consistent with their solo practice?
Well, one big one is setting those clear, achievable, smaller goals we talked about. Not just get fluent, but break it down. Learn 10 new adjectives this week. Have a 5-minute imaginary conversation daily. Hitting those smaller targets feels good, creates momentum.
Right. Celebrating the small wins.
Absolutely. Acknowledge your progress, however minor it seems. Did you finally get your head around a tricky verb tense? Awesome. Did you manage to talk to yourself for longer today without switching back? That's a win. Celebrate it. It keeps things positive.
And remembering why you started is important too, isn't it? Your core reason.
Definitely. Keep your why visible. Why English? Better job? Travel. Connecting with people? Personal challenge. Remind yourself regularly. It's like your internal compass when your enthusiasm dips.
And mixing things up helps too, right? Avoiding the rut.
Yes. Don't let it get stale. If you're bored with flashcards, switch to watching a funny YouTube channel in English for a bit. Try a different app. Listen to a new type of podcast. Variety is key to keeping it engaging.
And actually seeing your progress can be super motivating.
Huge boost. Track it somehow. Keep a simple journal. Learn at X today. Practice Y. Use an app that shows streaks or points. Looking back after a month or two and seeing how much you have done, that's powerful encouragement.
And finally, mindset is everything, isn't it?
Absolutely critical. You have to see mistakes not as failures, but as feedback, as opportunities. Every error shows you something to work on. Reframe it. Okay, messed that up. Good, now I know what to practice. A positive growth mindset makes the whole journey less stressful and more productive.
And even when alone, you can still immerse yourself.
Exactly. Keep surrounding yourself. Read in English. Listen whenever you can. Even just try thinking in English sometimes. The more it's around you, the more natural it becomes.
Great advice. So to all you amazing English learners tuning in, motivation comes and goes. We all know that. But consistency, That's the engine. Keep showing up for yourself, keep practicing in ways that work for you, and don't hesitate to try new things.
You absolutely can do this. We hope this deep dive helps light the way a bit.
And yeah, on that note, we've reached the end of our exploration into practicing English solo. We really hope you picked up some useful ideas and maybe feel a bit more empowered.
Thanks so much for joining us today.
Okay, now for that final thought to take away. Think about just one small, concrete tip from everything we discussed today. What's one thing you could realistically start doing in your daily routine, maybe even tomorrow? Just ponder how those tiny, consistent actions stacked up over time can lead to really significant growth in your English fluency. Until our next deep dive, keep learning.